Hi everybody, my name is Alex. I am Toothless's human and this is Big Boy Band Dog. Today we're gonna be doing a video all about this big boy, my big boy, my big boy.
You just remember what your old past said, or you got a friend in me. Yeah, you got a friend in me.
Let's start at the beginning. Toothless was born on June 5th, 2017. He is an American Band Dog Mastiff, and that's a relatively new breed for those of you who are going, American Band Dog Mastiff? That must be made up. I've never heard of it. American Band Dog Mastiff? She's making up stuff now. No, I'm not making anything up. The wonderful world of Google even acknowledges American Band Dog Mastiffs. An American Band Dog Mastiff is a mix between a Mastiff and a Staffordshire Terrier type dog. Basically means he's gonna be as tall as a Mastiff and pretty wide like his Staffy mom. Like I said, his mom was a Staffy and his dad was a Mastiff. His mom weighed about 100 pounds. His daddy is about 16 months and still growing, and he weighs 200 pounds. That means that my big boy baby, who already weighs 70 pounds at the age of 5 months, is gonna end up being about 160 pounds when he's full grown. Toothless's favorite toy is absolutely his bones. We've given him really big joints before, uncooked, because you're never supposed to give a dog cooked bones because they tend to splinter. He also occasionally likes the squeaker toy, but they don't tend to last very long. Next are his 3 dog best friends. The first one I think is absolutely Flynn from Tangled with Flynn. Flynn and him only got to see each other for a weekend a few weeks ago. However, I think that they had an amazing connection and they love to play with one another. Since they are both service dogs, it's very easy to say that they both know how to behave well around each other when on duty. But the moment you take that vest off, these boys are crazy. His next best friend is gonna be my sister's dog, Whiskey. Whiskey is a year-old husky. They tend to have a lot of play dates since I tend to visit my mom's house, which is where we are right now, very often. The way that they play can kind of be said to be spicy. Let's just say that when they're outside banging up against the walls of the house, it sounds like there is an earthquake. But they always have fun at the end of the day, and that's what matters. Finally, his last friend, who we don't get to see too often, is Bella. She belongs to my friend Gato. When those two play around, they tend to kind of play steal the toy, but I think that they both end up having a really good time together anyway. Next, we're gonna talk a little bit about Toothless's career. As a lot of you know, Toothless is a service dog in training, and he's training to become a mobility assistant, psychiatric, and medical alert dog. Hopefully he'll be fully trained and completely done by the time that he's 2. It could be sooner, it could be later. He also won't be performing his mobility tasks until he's 2 years old or until he's cleared by a vet. Finally, I'm going to talk about how I picked out Toothless in specific from his siblings and how I knew he was the one for me. Funny enough, I was on Craigslist looking for a bigger dog since my previous service dog in training, Mango, wasn't going to be big enough to assist me with mobility, which is a huge part of what I need help with. I scrolled down and I saw this mean looking picture of a really big dog, and my heart goes, I gotta have it. So I contacted the breeder and he told me that he had 3 left, 3 males, all different weights, and that I could meet them all. As a very nice person that I like to think that I am, I told him ahead of time, look, I'm gonna be screening this dog to see if he's apt for service work. I may not buy any of them. He said that that's okay, and so I went to go visit. I choose a service dog prospect with a few different tests. I choose 3 different tests. One of them is the pinch test, one of them is the trust test, and one of them is the retrieval test. All you do is you take a dog's paw and you pinch the skin that they have in between their toes. You pinch it relatively hard until the dog cries just a little bit. If the dog is completely afraid of you and refuses to return, they're not apt for service dog work. If the dog, no matter how hard you pinch, doesn't respond, they may also not be apt for service dog work. The perfect combination is if a dog responds to the pinching, kind of backs away, but isn't afraid to come back to you just as willingly. The importance of this test is to see how sensitive the dog's body is. Service dogs, as we all know, tend to get stepped on or tend to get run over by carts. If a dog is unforgiving at something that causes him pain, this can cause problems later in life like sensitivity to shopping carts and being around a lot of people. Toothless passed that test with flying colors when I pinched him, and he started licking my face in a kind of a, I know you didn't mean to do that, I still love you. I'll have you know, I did the test again just to make sure. That time he reacted a little bit, got a little bit of distance, but then came back just as eagerly. Test 1, check! The second test is retrieval and loud noises. I kind of tend to combine them. You take a ring that has a lot of keys and things and you bang them around the dog, kind of making it a toy. If the dog reacts very, very negatively to the noise, it should not be a service dog prospect. Noise sensitivity at such a young age tends to be something that they're simply born with and may not be able to be trained out of. Service dogs shouldn't be sensitive to noise because they shouldn't really be reactive to very much. They should always be able to keep their calm and their cool in any kind of situation. So since Toothless didn't really mind the sound that the noise were making or the movement, and he actually got very interested in the keys, I decided to throw them. If the dog goes after them and brings them back, flying colors, that's the dog. That basically shows that the dog is willing to bring something back to you and is willing to please you. Now, what Toothless did was that he went over to the keys, played with them a little bit, and then decided to come back to me. That is not an automatic fail, that is what usually tends to happen. That is a good sign for a service dog because it means that they're interested in what you're interested in. If the dog goes to the keys and kind of ignores them or walks away, he may have a little independent streak, and that's not a bad thing. Finally, if the dog sees that you threw the keys or item and they have no interest in going after it, or they go to it and they walk past it, this means that your dog can be very, very independent and may not be as willing to please. For those of us who have service dogs and know the importance it is for your service dog to want to please you, this might make training a lot harder than it already is. Finally, I did the trust test. The trust test is basically when you lay a puppy on their back on a padded surface. Don't lay the puppy on their back on concrete. They may not be comfortable and you might do a false reading on a negative when it's actually a good dog. The way that I tend to do this is that I tend to close my legs and put the dog in the cradle that my two legs make. When I put Toothless on there, he completely relaxed and was willing to trust me. When dogs are this young, they tend to not want to be on their back just because of the natural instinct that it is to protect their belly. If a dog is willing to lay on their back with you or on you, that means that they can trust you a lot. With service dogs, you tend to need to put them in new environments in different situations. If your service dog doesn't trust you, it may be a lot harder to have them in new environments or to ask your service dog to trust you in training. As we all know, some of service dog training requires to put our dog a little outside of their comfort zone to teach them something new and in an overall for the better. Service dogs need to be comfortable with a lot of different situations, and being able to put their trust in you is a huge factor in that. If the dog wriggles a lot or will not let you put them on their back at all, you may have a huge problem with the dog being able to trust you later in life. So back to the story. His older brother wouldn't even let me flip him, and his younger brother wouldn't even let me flip him. So to say that Toothless passed his test with flying colors is an understatement. I loved all of Toothless's response on his testing, and just because his brothers failed does not mean that Toothless is in any way less adequate to be a service dog than he is. You have to do the test individually for each puppy that you are considering. Just because one passed the test doesn't mean that everybody can. So that's how Toothless and I met. I can tell you that it was love at first sight. The first night that him and I met, I didn't take him home, but he did manage to walk me to my car before I returned him to the breeder. Toothless and I just had kind of an instant connection kind of thing. He was my heart dog. We just had an understanding of one another that we were going to be in this for the long run. Thank you everybody for tuning into another one of my videos. If you like this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you want to ask me another question, or if you have a general wonderment about anything else about Toothless in specific, you can feel free to leave a comment below. Or if you just want to comment on the video, the quality, anything like that, feel free to leave a comment below, whether positive or negative. We accept all kinds of feedback. If you want to keep seeing videos about Toothless and our journey as a service dog and a spoonie, feel free to hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when we upload videos. Thank you so much everybody, stay safe, and may the spoons be with you.
Just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you.
Is this one right? Like that? I don't know. How do you want it? Do you know how you want it? Does it matter how you want it? And his younger brother wouldn't even let me flip it.